Hi, it's Drew Tignanelli. This is our December update 2024. That means the year is coming almost to an end.
Yes, it is.
What do you think of my shirt, Mike?
I love your shirt. It's perfect for the December episode of the Financial Pulse. It just screams Christmas time.
Or Florida, one of the two.
Florida, one of
Yeah.
the two.
So what's happening? What's going on in the market?
So, well, we'll start off with a couple reminders. Every month, we're putting out an article and a webinar in addition to this video. The webinar and article for this month is Mastering Medicare for a Smooth Retirement. So look forward to those emails coming out. We also wanted to take the opportunity in this December video to remind any of our clients that may have an estimated tax payment coming due in January 15th to make sure they check and get that done. But yeah,
That's
markets,
both Fed and state.
Fed and state, unless you're in Florida.
And well, unless you don't pay state taxes. But always remember that January of the next year, 2025, is the last payment for 2024.
Right.
Used to be a time, Mike, where you wanted to make that state payment in December, not wait until January, but that's no longer applicable under the current tax laws.
We'll
But
see
anyway,
what's to
go ahead.
come.
What's that?
I said we'll see what's to come.
Yeah, we will. We will.
But no, markets have been celebrating, right? As I mean, every time we shoot this video, it's always 5 or 6 days before it comes out. So who knows what will happen the next 5 or 6 days? But from the beginning of last month till today, S&P is up 5.4, Nasdaq is up 5.9, and the Dow is up 7.1. Those are
Yeah.
intraday prices.
Yeah, for the year, markets are up between 15 and 25%. Just depends on what index you're looking at.
Yep. And then inflation is still running right about the same place it was, 2.6%. But there's been no lack of talk around the Federal Reserve and what it's going to do with rates. JP Morgan's analysts have a prediction that December will see a 0.25% rate cut. Well, who knows? We'll wait to see. But one of the more interesting topics, Drew, is what the Fed Reserve most recently said about a number called the terminal rate. And the terminal rate is the rate out in the future that they aspire their policy to get us to. And the terminal rate that they put out there is 3%. Now, the interesting thing about this is that markets trade, and from the way markets trade, we can see predictions. And at the moment, the market's trading like the future rate will be 4%, a full 1% difference, which is significant when you're talking numbers like that.
Yeah, so the Fed is a little more positive that they're going to get inflation down a good bit and that rates will be able to drop to 3. Market's saying, I'm not so sure.
Well, and the next topic we were going to talk about, just touch on briefly, why might the markets be thinking that? And most of the financial news this week has been around what President Trump has said he's going to do around tariffs. And there's a lot of uncertainty as far as how that's going to affect companies and how it's going to affect consumers through pricing, because all those tariffs, if you're still getting your widget if your iPhone still comes from China, it's just those costs are going to get passed on. So Monday night, which I guess would have been November 24th, 5th, November 25th, he announced that he was going to do 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico and 10% tariff duties on China. And that would be in addition to any tariffs and duties that are already out there. So that's part of what the market's looking at when it's concerned about what the interest rates will be in the future.
Look, number one, he has to get it through. Number one. Number two, theoretically, that would cause price pressures to be increased because 25% tariff, somebody's got to pay it. But it's far more complicated than that, Mike. And there have been plenty of tariffs that have been imposed without any price increases coming through on those tariffs. So we've seen that in the past. Matter of fact, the first Trump administration did that, and you did not see the price increases coming through from those tariffs that he had imposed at that time. Now, this could be a totally different time. We don't know.
Right.
If he uses those tariffs to negotiate, it could turn out to be a very good thing because Mexico and Canada have some things that they have to do that would make the United States a more effective country in and of itself. But if he uses those just to raise tariffs, yeah, it could prove to be a negative. Who knows?
We'll
We'll
see.
know in the future, right? We'll know in
Yes.
the future, and we'll figure it out along the way. That's the issue. We'll figure it out along the way.
Yep, absolutely. So this is the December financial pulse. So a good topic to talk about in December is always gifting. I know my little girls are looking forward to Christmas, making their lists and having me check them twice. But we wanted to talk about one of the most misunderstood parts of our tax code that, doesn't matter how many times we talk about it, it seems like people are still scared of it. And it's a thing called the gift tax. And the gift tax is, you know, is related to estate taxes, not income taxes or anything like that. There is no tax due when you give a gift. This is just all talking about the estate taxes for the future if you were to pass away. What most people don't realize is that for most Americans, this isn't even going to apply. So you've got a federal estate tax and you have a state estate tax depending on where you live. For Maryland, the federal estate taxes says, hey, if you die as a single person and you have over $5 million, we want a little bit of that action. And if you were ever married, well, and the second spouse to die passes, well, you both get 5 million. So you'd have to be worth more than 10 million upon the second spouse's death to even concern yourself with Maryland estate taxes. At the federal level, for 2024, it's 13.6 million you have to be worth as a single individual before they are even concerned with this. And if you were married at some point and you have the portability of the other spouse's deduction, now you're talking $27.2 million. So unless you're confident you're going to, when you pass away, the second to die is going to have, over 27.2 million in assets still in their name, this really isn't too much of a thing for you to worry about, right?
No, I mean, people think that if you give away more than 18,000 or whatever it is, that all of a sudden the children are going to start paying income taxes on it. And it's all the thinking when you hear tax, everyone thinks income tax.
Right.
But gifting is dealing with estate and gift taxes that has to do with the cumulative amount that you give during your lifetime and then the residual at death. If that exceeds that 27 million, now the gifts that you made are significant. If it doesn't, the gifts you made are irrelevant. And it's only for the Fed. The state of Maryland doesn't consider gifts. So we don't have to worry about the state of Maryland. Now, our clients are all over the country. And so Oregon and New York do consider gifts. So if you live in those states, you got to be worried about gifts and gifts taxes. But Maryland doesn't. So that's one of the benefits we have with our Maryland clients. Pennsylvania only considers the gifts, and it's not for estate tax, it's for inheritance tax if you give them within 3 years of the date of death. So a lot of interesting juxtaposition depending on where you live, how much you have. The point you're making is don't worry about giving gifts of large amounts. Just talk to us. And if you want to give a big gift and your situation's not likely to ever have any issues with estate taxation, it's fine to make the gift. That's what you're trying to say.
Yep, absolutely. So I want to talk about two other ways to give gifts that are kind of interesting and unique. So the first is if you have adult children, and we've seen a number of client situations where our clients, are pretty well off. They've done a really good job of saving, but their adult children, are struggling a little bit, and they get a little financial help from mom and dad. Well, if the children are in a lower tax bracket than the parents, one opportunity is to say, hey, I've got this McDonald's stock that I bought in 1972, and its cost basis is nothing. My my cap gains rate is here, but my kids' cap gains rate is down here. Well, you might want to give, instead of giving them the $10,000 or the $15,000, you might want to give them enough of that McDonald's stock to get the amount you wanted to get them and then pay the tax on it at the lower rate if they pay any capital gains tax.
That's true as long as your child is out of college or
Non-independent.
or over the age of 23, even if they are in college. So they have to be independent for that to work. And so that really works great with graduate school students, right? And it
Yep.
works great with needy parents.
Yes.
So if you have parents that are elderly, don't make a lot of income, and they need support, you take appreciated assets and you give them to them. And there's a good chance they won't pay a nickel in capital gains tax on the sale compared to your, maybe my own 23.8% capital gains tax rate. So it is a
Yep.
great strategy. And that's why you need to talk to your advisor when you're looking to make big gifts to children who are independent or parents who are elderly and are in low income situations.
Absolutely. So I'm going to now share my favorite strategy for gifting to your children, and or really this works very well for grandchildren. So when children get to the age where they're, 15, 16 years old, they're getting that summer job, they're, working on the weekends, waiting tables, whatever it might be. A really cool way for a grandparent or a parent to give is to set up something called a custodial Roth IRA account. And what you could do as a grandparent or a parent is you could say, hey, Jimmy, how much money did you make this summer at your summer job? Well, I made $3,000. He's like, well, maybe I'll give you half of that. I'll give you $1,500, but we've got to put it into this custodial Roth IRA. And it just gets them started on the path to, thinking about saving and thinking about retirement very early. So it's a great strategy that I really like.
That's a powerful tool. And if you're self-employed and you own your own company, and your kid's 10 years old, 12 years old, or your grandkids, you pay them something to do something, take the money and plop it into to a custodial Roth account. It's a slam dunk, no brainer strategy,
Yep, absolutely.
and it can get really cool, more than just the Roth, Mike. It can be a really cool strategy overall. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a great one.
So the last area talking about giving gifts to children and grandchildren. We've talked about the 529 plan at nauseum in prior episodes, so we're not going to go through every detail of what a 529 plan is, but it's a college savings account. Depending which state you're in, it has different tax benefits. But one of the strategies I wanted to share today is something very cool and unique that we had happen. So we had a client who called me and said, hey, I want to provide significant amount of support for my grandson's, grad school or whatever advanced school program. It's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be tens of thousands per semester. Should I put it in the 529 plan? Well, this particular client is older. And, we discussed the fact that one of the rules around the 529 plans for Maryland is that you can, if you put in any more at one time, then you will be able to take you with your spouse over the next 10 years as income tax deductions. Any amount over that, you lose. And in addition, if you don't live 10 more years, that tax benefit is going to be gone. So their children were also clients. And I went over to the advisor that had one of the children that had the grandchild that was going to go to the school and said, hey, let me talk to me about this client's tax situation. And what we figured out is we could do a chunk through the grandparents where we thought pretty confidently they'll get that tax benefit over their lifetime. And then we gifted the remaining amount down to the child, the adult child, to put into the 529 for them to take the tax deduction on their much higher Maryland taxable income. And then with also much more certainty that they'll be around in 10 years plus in order to get that. So, these things are unique situations, but they are and they aren't. There's lots of grandparents out there helping grandkids with school. It's just always good to talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. And Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia have big tax deductions you can get for those contributions. Delaware, it's almost not even worth talking about how little their benefit is. But
Right.
the other three states around us, and most of the states in the country, have some kind of tax deduction for their 529 plans. California is one of the unique ones that offers no tax benefit for contributing to a 529. But anyway, it's a great strategy. Talk to your advisor and they'll help guide you through the best strategy for you.
So we hope everybody's going to have a really happy holiday season. We just talked a lot about gift giving, and I wanted to bring up the gift of the year, this time of year, which would be a copy of Drew's book, The Financial Physical.
Oh, there you go. Teed up, eh?
Tee up.
It's really I'm surprised at how popular it's become amongst lots of people. I had one client who gave 15 copies out to different people. So
It's a great way to refer us, isn't it?
it is a great way to refer us. A lot of our clients feel that they want to try to tell people about what we do and how unique it is. And the Financial Physical book is an easy way to do that. And our criteria for clients is 500,000 of invested assets or more, Mike. And if you think that you have somebody that would meet our kind of criteria and you want to give them an introduction to our company, the Financial Physical book is a great way to do that. And we're more than happy to provide copies to you to give to people that you think would be a great fit for our company. And, as I keep saying, I wrote that book to communicate a message about the industry. The industry is too sales focused and it needs to be more professionally focused, like doctors of personal finance, like a doctor in medicine, general practitioner of medicine. That's what financial advisors should be. They should be fee only. They should be independent. They should be fiduciaries. They should be educated, credentialed, et cetera, et cetera. And our clients are the best ones to communicate that message to the public, not me and not you, because when we say it, we have a bias for why we say it. But our clients know why we say it. They know why it's beneficial. And the Financial Physical book is a great way to help communicate that message to other people. And when you tell them, that makes a big difference. And we'd really appreciate that. And it's not just for us, Mike. It's for the industry as a whole to become much more professional. And the book even promotes the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors. It doesn't promote Drew Tignanelli and Mike in the Financial Consulate. It says, look to the NAFA to choose a fee-only financial advisor. So anyway, you're right. That'd be a great way to do it.
Great way to do it.
I think we're finished, aren't we?
I think we are.
All right. Well, this
everybody has a great holiday.
Have a Merry Christmas, and we're celebrating Thanksgiving in a day or two, right?
Yes, we are at the time.
But it'll be past Thanksgiving when they get this. So have a great holiday season. It's Drew Tignanelli saying God bless.